Hey guys, welcome back to another Junk Journal with Me episode. In today's video, I'm just doing a quick little journal spread in my junk journal that you guys have seen me use many times before. The first thing I'm doing is looking through my journal and trying to choose a page to work on. You guys know I don't really work in chronological order. I just usually choose a page based on what sort of idea I have in mind. I really wanted to use pages from my journal zine, the cut apart copy that I have for myself, and this is the first time I'm cutting into this myself and having a play with it. I picked a little section of prompts from one of the months in the zine and I'm going to use that on the page. I thought I was going to journal on this page, but I actually end up changing pages in a minute. I usually just see how a page feels. If it feels like it's wrong or it's not flowing right for whatever, like ephemera or decorations or whatever story I want to tell, if it feels like it's wrong, I'll just change pages until I find something that feels more flowy and something that feels like it works better. So I feel like I didn't have maybe enough space on that page, or something about the way that page was, I just wasn't really feeling it. So I flicked through my journal and I found this other page and I decided to start working on this page. And my journal is getting really thick and difficult to work with, as you can probably tell. I've done a lot of journaling in the middle of the book. So the middle of the book's quite thick and bulky, and then on the outsides that I need to now fill up the front and the back of the book, it's harder to get the book to lay flat, but that is where a lot of the blank pages are, so that's kind of where I have to work. But I don't think I'm going to be in this journal for that much longer. I do still have a fair amount of pages that are unused, but I've also gone through quite a lot as well, more than I actually thought. In this particular page, I really wanted to do a page where I didn't use any photos. So a lot of people say they don't have access to photos, can't print their photos from home, and I know a lot of my pages are usually based around photos. That's just the way that I like to journal. It helps me document my life, it inspires me, it's just the way that I prefer. But there are times where I journal without using photos, and in this particular page I really purposely didn't use any photos. So you'll see me play around with some magazine images that I've clipped out, and I've also got some playing cards and some vintage ephemera that has like pretty imagery on it that I'm going to use to decorate the page. The little piece that I cut out from my zine is a piece that has journaling prompts on it, and the prompts are all about lists. And so I actually went down through the prompts and I did almost all of them and included them all on this spread. I've used some magazine page to decorate that right side of the page. I've also used a linen printable from my Etsy shop. This one is printed on sticker paper, so I could just peel and stick. I've got that greeting card that I want to use because it's got all the same pretty tones, colour tones in it, but I couldn't quite fit it onto the page. I wanted to make it into a pocket, but there just wasn't anywhere on the spread that I felt like it fit really well. So I fiddled around with it a few times, but I don't end up including it on the spread. I really like that little vintage playing card with the guy fishing on there. I love the colours of that card and just the vibes that it gives me, and I really like the way that it looks against that pretty floral paper. So I stapled it up the top there, and then I have this little cut apart of scrapbook paper that looks like a library card, but it's bright yellow and it's super cute, so I also stuck that on the other side of the page so that I could journal on it. This piece that I'm playing with now is another card. This is like a greeting card that came with Frankie Diary this year, and again I wanted to include this. It had the same sort of colour tones that I was working with, those oranges and yellows, and I decided to stick it over the page with some thick washi tape so that it would fold all the way out and then fold all the way back in, with places to decorate and places to write on top of. So really just building up the page, trying to make it more interesting to look at, more interesting to touch, and just trying to include things that look visually appealing to me, as well as incorporate little places that I know I can write on later. and leave myself enough room to do some journaling. So I have this little paper bag that fit really well on top of the greeting card, so I just decided to stick that on top. I know it covers up a lot of the orange and yellow pattern on that card, but there is two sides to it, so when you fold it out you still get to see that pretty pattern. For the most part, I do put this floral printable. This is from one of the pages from our journal's printables. I think it may be from the January pack, but again, I really like the colours in this and I felt like it helped complement everything and bring it all together. So I glued that on top of the other side. You can still see the pretty card underneath, but just to decorate the page a little bit more. Then I pulled out another image from a magazine. I felt like that just did not fit at all, so I played with a couple of others. Didn't really like the way any of them looked on this page. And then so I pulled out this paper doll dress. It is torn, it's ripped, but that's okay. I decided to glue this straight down on the blank page just to fill in that space. Again, something that I was feeling drawn to, something that's visually appealing to me. And by gluing it straight down on the page, I could sort of stick it back together because it was torn in half. So I just like the way that that looks. It doesn't really have any specific meanings to it or anything, but things don't always have to have a meaning or a purpose. If you feel like, I really like that, that's really pretty, I like looking at that, or any sort of reason you feel drawn to something, you can put it in your journal and then it's meaningful to you. It represents you, it represents what you like. So that is the page with my journaling. I had my sister fill out one of the prompts, which was to have someone you love or a loved one write down their favorite things about you. So she wrote on the back of that little panda card, and then I just filled in all the other little places with some of the other list prompts. So like I wrote a list of lists, I wrote what I do when I'm feeling down to feel better, I wrote out a list of my favorite foods, I also wrote like a little mini list of some of the pets I've ever owned, a wish list, all that kind of thing. So if you guys are interested in the prompts, I do have the pages from our journal zine available as printables at all times. I no longer have the physical copy of the books available, but like I said, you can buy the monthly segments and you can print them out as many times as you like. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little junk journal with me. Tomorrow I will be sharing the next episode in the Nameless Art Journal series, and so I hope to see you guys there tomorrow.